it don't make no damn sense.
It really.
There and I feel bad, but at the same time, just like Jonathan said, something important had to be going on, because he said that the guys who got killed over there, the 10 people, the black people who got killed in Buffalo,
right?
He told me that the guy who they shot, I think he was a security guard or something like that.
Okay, yeah, it was the security guard shot him, but he didn't. The reason why he didn't get him because he had on all that police armor stuff. Yeah.
Right, but like, hold on 1 second. Like
I just want to let you know this is the Queen Who Cares. We're on the air right now. We might as well get it in because we're on a tight schedule. We're on a tight schedule. And we're talking about the massacre that happened in Texas with this 18-year-old killed 19 people and 2 adults. And I just heard that one of the teacher's husband, when he found out his wife was killed, he had a heart attack and died.
He sure did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He sure did. Mm-hmm. Because of the amounts of stress. I mean, they said that man was married.
Mm-hmm.
That woman was married to her husband for 24, 25 years, something like that.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But, again, great rising to you guys. This is your girl, Loren Lux, partnering up with a Queen Who Cares. We coming with y'all with another amazing episode today. Again,
mm-hmm.
We're talking about what took place with these poor children and actually 3 adults, because he actually shot his grandmother as well before he left his residence to go and shoot at a elementary school. And, the one thing that I wanted to touch, base on was that, we talk about mental illness, we talk about, people who need help, but people really need more help than what we think, you guys, because for somebody to go to an elementary school and shoot 10-year-olds
yes.
who ain't never did nothing
yes.
to nobody,
yes.
ain't even had a life yet, that goes to show you that our children are not moving forward. Our children are moving backwards, guys. We got to be very cautious and aware of what our children are watching, who our children are playing with, and what our children are playing on them video games. We have to open up our eyes and see. Yes, I understand we want a quick little break, but you cannot take too many breaks with these children. You got to be on point. You got to. Because maybe if somebody would have paid attention to this young man, we could have avoided this massacre. A Queen Who Cares, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's like, I mean, what was this young man going through that, everybody missed?
Exactly.
There's got to be some red flags that something wasn't right.
Exactly.
I mean, I watched the interview about with his grandfather, and the reporter asked him, did you see any signs? Why was he living here with you guys instead of his biological parents? And the grandfather stated that the grandson, the guy who was the alleged shooter, he was very quiet. He was to himself. He did not speak very much. And the reason why he was not in the house with his mom was because he got into, I guess, a verbal disagreement or altercation, which is common. I mean, kids grow up. They have their own mindset. They want to argue with their parents. They want to be combative. Understandable. But at the same time, we are the darn parents.
Exactly.
Okay? Exactly. We're the darn parents. And if they got a problem, then they better go and solve it. Because just like I tell my daughter all the time, it is never going to be a problem where you don't have a solution.
That's true. That is so true.
So yeah, we talk about mental health and this, that, and the third, but we really got to indulge more with our children. Yes, we're tired. Yes, we need a break. yes, we want to go and do our own things, but hey, at the same time, just because your child is 18 don't mean you stop being a parent.
That's true. Now, I say that all the time, even when they in their 20s, because they still need guidance.
I'm in my 30s, and I still need guidance.
Exactly.
I mean, so we still need our parents. I'm sure, Queen T, and even in your age, you still need your mom. You still would like to call and just have a nice little conversation and laugh a little bit.
Right.
That's just that's what it's about. But when we start thinking our kids is grown and they could do their own, they're not grown. Mm-hmm. This boy was 18 years old on document, but realistically, he was a 10-year-old as well.
Exactly.
I'll give you an example, right, Queen T? Mm-hmm. I had somebody that I know, she has a small son. I want to say her son is about, let's just say her son is about 10 or 11 years old, okay?
Right.
And he was going through some stuff at school. Mm-hmm. He was actually threatening another student, telling the student he was going to kill him.
Oh, my goodness.
And he was actually threatening his teacher, telling his teacher he was stupid, he was dumb, he wanted to kill his teacher, right? Mm-hmm. I kept saying to this individual, you need to talk to him. Right. Because something seems like it's going on, a little bit more deeper. Because why would he just start reacting this way?
Right.
So she had a conversation with her son, and you know what he told his mother? He said, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, the reason why I'm mad at that little boy is because his father shows up for him. My father don't show up for me. His father shows up to his award ceremonies. He's always there to pick him up and give him hugs after school. And I hate him because he has a dad and I don't.
Oh, wow.
Right? Now, you can look at that. Some people might look at that and, well, that's no excuse and blah, blah, blah. No, that is a damn excuse. Parents, we got to do better as parents. We're raising these damn kids.
Exactly.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And stop giving your kids to your daggone mother and your father.
Exactly.
If it's not an emergency, raise your own damn children.
Exactly.
And if you see something going on, get them some help.
If you see something out the blue and they ain't acting right, because when these kids, you don't know, these kids that don't say nothing, they always on the computer, they always in their room, they think you don't know what's going on in their mind, and you got to find out what's going on in their mind. You got to get them out the house, spend a lot of time with them, do things with them, find out what they like and what their dislikes are. You got to spend time with your kids. You can't just be working all the time. And not just paying attention to your kids, I can't even say letting the TV babysit them, because the TV ain't babysitting nobody now. It's all this electronics babysitting their cell phones and all this stuff and all them darn games, just like you say. You have to stop letting your kids just live like that. That's not normal. And the parents will say, "Oh, times done change." Some things got to remain old fashioned and let them get outside in nature. And do things like how we used to do when we was coming up.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. And don't sit there and say to yourself, like Queen just said, we have to be held a little bit more accountable for what we're doing with our kids. Okay, again, I understand you have to work, you have things to do. Trust me, I'm not saying that those things are not important, because you have to do those things. Mm-hmm. But just like Queen T also stated, we also have to be aware that our kids do need our time. Now, I don't know why this young man went and shot his grandmother in the head.
Yes.
Obviously, he was upset with her for whatever reason. Maybe the woman didn't even know the boy was upset with her. She probably didn't even have a darn clue what was going on, because according to the grandfather, they had just went out to Applebee's to celebrate his birthday, I think maybe about 2 or 3 weeks prior.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
So you look at those situations and you say to yourself, well, what in the world could have happened, from point A to point B? What fired?
Yeah, what could have took place in the link of those weeks to lead up to a massive massacre, and where he walking in. And you know what? These schools need to be more, secure these kids better. How in the world he passed about 3 police school guards and got into them classes? Hello. Hello. Well, look like we're having a little technical difficulty here, but we just wanted to elaborate on what took place in Texas and also um, in Buffalo, New York as well. But right now I'm in the process of getting ready for work. I can't really sit down and elaborate like I want to, but we will come back with a part 2 to this. We will come back with a part 2 to this and continue to talk about the tragic that's taking place in our community. Might as well say community because hey, it's all in the United States of America. But we need to put a stop to gun violence. It's something got to be done with the guns, and you know it's like so many young people suffering from mental illness because the guns are getting in the hands of the wrong people, and they're doing things that is leading to nothing but tragedy, fatalities, and just killing. Why would somebody take up a gun, 18 years old, and go into a little elementary school and kill all these little babies, and where they didn't even much have a chance at life or nothing? It just breaks my heart to hear such tragedy. But something has to be done in America when it comes to these guns, gun violence, and just guns is just getting in the hands of wrong people all over the world. It has to be some stricter laws into owning a gun. It shouldn't be you have to just go. You can go online and just order a gun. You can get all kind of army gear, all kind of smoke bombs and pipes and all kind of stuff that blow up a whole darn community. This might. Hello, hello, Laura Lux. You back on the air?
Yes, ma'am. We are back, and you know how that goes. Sometimes when you're saying something good, somebody else, the spirit is some negative spirits to try to come and shut you down. But you know how we do.
Exactly.
Right back at it, baby.
Right. I was just continue talking. I said, well, maybe she might come back up. But anyway, hey, you go ahead on, take over, and keep on talking about what you was talking about. I'm finna grab some makeup here while you talking.
Listen, we got to multitask.
Exactly.
I'm taking care of driving errands this morning. I said I'm happy that we on the air because you know I definitely wanted to touch topics, but you know like we were saying, you know I think it's just important for us to not give up on our children just because they turn 18. I think that's kind of where we left off.
Right,
you know,
right.
Just because they turn 18 doesn't mean that they don't need guidance. You know, like I was just saying to Queen, hey, check your kids' belongings. Yeah, I understand you might say, well, that's an invasion of privacy. Well, guess what? At this stage, you have to check. You have to watch your kids. You cannot just leave your kids with any on. You just can't. Come on, y'all. We gotta do better, y'all. You can't do stuff like this. This is not right because look, now you got all these innocent children who lost their life simply because an adult, yet again, an adult failed them, and it's not right. And it needs. I get tired of hearing the news always constantly saying, oh, they need to do something about it. No, ain't nothing that the authorities can do if the parents are not involved.
Exactly.
Sorry to tell you, but it's nothing that they can do. If the parents are not involved in the well-being of the children, there's absolutely nothing that a parent can do in order to combat this gun violence. There's nothing that they could do.
Exactly.
The parent has to be the one to stop the madness and figure out what's going on. Again, get your kids some help. If you see they struggling or whatever the case may be,
right.
Instead of sitting up there cussing them out, calling them stupid and dumb, no, what you do is you actually fight for them in the way that they need to be fought for. Meaning, you go, you get them some. Let me tell y'all. Let me put y'all on game real quick. And don't ever say that Queen T ain't never come to y'all giving y'all resources. Right now, if you make underneath $75,000 a year, okay, whether you're married or single, you qualify for government assistance. I understand some people might look at that and say, well, I'm above it, or I'm this, or I'm that. But guess what? If you have Medicaid, you can take your kid right now to go see a psychiatric, either have a psychiatric evaluation, they can go to a therapist, and they can have counseling. They can get access to better health care than some of your regular providers through your regular jobs. Okay? So there's no excuse, you guys. Don't sit here and wait for another daggone massacre to happen with more kids for you to go and check on your child.
Exactly. That is true.
Because I'm pretty sure that little boy wasn't an evil person, but he was very hurt as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's 18, Queen T, but guess what? He probably was really the mindset of a 10-year-old. And that's what I said to my beloved. I said, you know, I really firmly believe that this little boy targeted that age group specifically because of his own jealousy of what he lacked at home.
Right.
Just like I told you about that young lady that I had, her son, he said to her what he said. Some people got upset. Oh, well, you should have put him on punishment, or this, that, and the third. No. What she needed to do is what she did. She listened to him, and then she got him some help. Because his father's not in his life, so he has all right to be jealous, Queen T.
Right.
These kids don't know no better. They're oversaturated on the internet, like you said, or on these technical devices. It's separating families, and it's killing our youth.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's better. People need to go back to the traditional way. Play some board games, because the board games you can strategize, and you can map out how that child thinks.
It's really heartbreaking when you sit back and you look at some of those families, you know, who lost their children, who will never see their kids again. You know, I actually gave praises to the universe for allowing me, although it is very difficult at times, allowing me to homeschool my small child.
Exactly.
And I plan on doing it until she graduates high school. I really do, because I do feel like it's going to get more intense.
Exactly.
Things are going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not knocking any parent that sends their child to a school, because I was a child that was brought up in a regular, you know, school, in-person school. But I'll tell you like this, I suffered a lot being in public school. Bullying, constantly being bullied, constantly, you know, going through trauma, you know. And when you look at those things, you're like, wow, you know, as a parent, you want better for your children.
Right.
You know, you at least you try. Nobody is perfect, but you at least got to give it a shot. And I think that people are dropping the ball because they're so consumed in their own daggone lives that we're forgetting that our kids need us too.
And you know what? And I want to say, and also to these parents that, you know, they focus on getting all this material stuff. Cut back on, y'all can, a lot of parents can afford to homeschool their kids if they cut back on living in a material world. They want the best car, they want the best house, and all this stuff that really don't matter. Pour in, like you said, pour into your children. You know, cut back. Let the wife stay home and school. You know, homeschool their child, or either bring somebody in to homeschool their child. You can afford if you can afford to live in these $500,000 houses and all these high-priced cars and all this kind of stuff. You can afford this. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't afford it," but you can afford it. You just don't want to do it.
Exactly. That's exactly the situation. And until people start to acknowledge that, things will not change. Things will stay the same, or they're going to get worse.
Yeah, they're going to get worse, you know. And because, you know what? Look at this. The boy in New York, Buffalo, New York, he walked into a grocery store. He 18. Okay, here go another 18. You know, you don't know it's like a trend or something. You know, one killing after another, and all of them 18. You know, that's not cool at all. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to, you know, touch bases on the situations that's going on in the world, because there's always something going on. Every time you turn on the news, you hear
I don't know if you can hear me because my phone might have.
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, guys. I know this morning my service is a little weird this morning. I think it's because of the weather. Hasn't been the best down here. But I wanted to leave you guys with a piece of advice. I just wrote a small blog about self-love and self-care, and understanding that self-love and self-care is more than just going and getting your hair done, going and getting a pedicure. It's really about your values. So, make sure that even if you give your kids 5 minutes in the morning and let them know that you love them, you care for them, if there's something going on that you have their backs, don't just be so quick to say as a parent, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to deal with it. Because then what you do is you put your responsibility on other people, and then when you do that and the children fail, we blame the kids. Now, let's talk about something really quick, Queen T. I don't know if you have another quick second to address it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But let's talk about this. That boy was only 18.
Right.
So he was a child himself.
He sure was.
So now, think about it. Not only did we, and nobody is even acknowledging the fact that he passed away because everybody's upset with him. But let's look at the bigger picture. Although everybody may be angry with him, he's still a child himself. How would you feel if that was your 18-year-old grandson or your 18-year-old son that committed this act? You're going to still mourn him because the police officer shot this young man and killed him dead. Okay, and no, I'm not. You might look at it and say, oh, well, he's not a victim. But he is a victim. He is a victim. Because, again, he was a child. So that means that the big people let him down. Somebody let that boy down. And because of it, he unfortunately took his upset out on innocent people. Okay? But the bottom line is, like Queen T said, check on your kids, check on your family. Don't just assume that they're doing okay. Actually call them. Go see them. Write them a letter. Those are all forms of communication.
That's right.
If you see your kid is on that phone or on that computer too much, take it from them. Don't be mean about it. You know what you can do? You can say, you know what, son? You know what, daughter? We're going to go on a family excursion today. You have to limit them on those screens.
Exactly.
Because I'm telling y'all, they're trying to kill our kids, and it's working, y'all. So we have to bond ourselves together and do better.
That's true.
Okay, and if you need resources, obviously there's a ton of resources that you can gain access to. You can always email the Queen Who Cares. You can email LorenLux38@gmail. We will do our best to put you guys in the right direction. But please, just check up on your loved ones and do the best that you can moving forward. Let's not keep repeating this terrible cycle.
Exactly, and like I say, this generation is, it's just, I never seen nothing like it. It's every time you turn around, it's just so many young people doing hideous crimes and stuff. And I was looking at the news the other day, and the news lady in Chicago, she was talking about the shooting in Texas, and it was a black young male passed by with a gun, waving it at the camera, the news lady in the background.
Now you tell me something ain't wrong with him. And this is the problem that I have. Most importantly, is that social media can really do a number on people. It can really make people go crazy. People on social media have this weird thing about them where they think that everything goes, or they want to get clout, or they want to get attention. Y'all, it is way more to life than trying to get on the internet for fame.
Exactly.
Please stop doing it.
Exactly.
Please stop doing it, because y'all look, Miss Queen T, did you get your bell yet for the dumb bunnies? Because that is you a dumb bunny if you go on the internet or you look at what these people do and think that you should go and do it too. Please don't do it.
Exactly.
Don't do it to yourselves, because you look like crazy and you look damn dumb. Okay? Don't do it. Stay off that damn internet. You know what you guys need to do some days? Force yourself to have a detox day where you are not on that darn phone.
Exactly.
And let's set up, and you know what, Queen T, let's throw our own selves underneath the bus a little bit too.
Exactly.
As a parent, let me tell you something. No, parents don't want to admit it, but I'll admit it for us parents if y'all have a hard time saying it. We got to do better too. Queen T tells you that all the time. We got to do better. And you know what? She is 1,000% correct. And I say that to say this. We sit up on them daggone phones just as much as these darn kids.
Exactly.
So we have to set an example.
And I look at people, I'm on my way to work. They're about to get run over because they're so busy looking down at their phone. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And you know, people forget their phones. They got to go. They'll be late for work to go back and get their phone. Well, you know what? Just go along the day without your phone if you just happen to leave it home.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that because I want to get you the exact information. So I'll do my best to make sure that I get the exact resource where I got this information from. Mm-hmm. But there is a guy. I was just writing a report about this.
Right.
And the report was just talking about how much we really do consume on this phone, right? And he made a statement and he said that the reason why people are always taking their phones with them is because they were told that you're taking your phone with you just in case an emergency happens, right? But they said, look at how often emergencies really happen. He said it's really not that often.
Exactly.
So that goes to show me that we're wasting our damn time because here it is. We sitting up here talking about, oh, Queen T, we got to get that phone. Not saying that we're like that because I know we're not like that, but you know, we're just using an example. Oh, Queen T, I left my phone. I got to go back home just in case of an emergency. And like that man said, it is a very slim chance that there is no emergency that's going to take place.
Exactly.
It's another tactic to make you feel attached to that damn phone.
Exactly.
And more detached from reality.
Right. Exactly.
So what does that say? What does that tell you? Mm-hmm. You know, so we got to pay close attention to what is really going on around us.
Exactly.
You really
it's true.
have to pay attention. It's deeper than what people are saying. And then you got people's family members constantly being killed because of nonsense.
Exactly. That's true. Getting killed because of nonsense. Here, those people sending their kids to school thinking they're going to see them later on that day, come pick up their kids, and they got to pick them up. And they say the parents was trying to get into school, and it was a whole hour before they let them, I guess they let them in there or something.
Right. And just like I was saying to you earlier, I was told that, you know, just like the massacre that took place out in Buffalo, New York, I was given information that really happened because the man who was the security officer that had gotten shot and they killed him, unfortunately, he actually just invented the first vehicle that could run on water.
Oh, my God.
And he was about to get it patented. And what they wanted to do was they said that they believed that the government had more to do with that situation than they letting us to believe. And I believe that too. I believe that these government officials be having all these weird, you know, coincidences. You know, I do believe that because just like the guy who we were talking about in Buffalo who shot those people, they said that his family members were friends with the CIA.
Oh my God.
So, you know, telling if this boy, you know, a lot of these kids be programmed.
Exactly.
You know, let's not forget the kid. Remember, I don't know if you remember the massacre that happened up north in 2010. When those guys went to the high school and shut up the high school, Columbine.
Oh yeah, I remember that good. That was one of the that was like the number one.
We ever had. And the crazy thing about that was they stated that boy was heavily underneath the FBI as well.
Oh my goodness.
And they were pretty much cramming him to some extent.
Wow.
You know, so I do believe that a lot of what we're seeing is definitely more than what the eyes can see.
Right.
You know, we might have to do another segment for deep divers because, you know, we dive deep. Not everybody is able to handle that.
Right.
But I'll tell you like this, I firmly believe that there's some truth to that mess.
Right.
Because, again, just like with these games and all these virtual realities that these kids are playing around with, where do you think that stuff comes from?
Exactly.
You know, it gotta come from somewhere. It ain't coming just out somebody's tailbone.
Exactly.
Somebody is thinking that okay for that to be that for those things to come on the air. But you know what, Queen T, what I think about a lot of days is just like when the old timers used to say, we don't want to hear that rap music. We don't want to hear that garbage. You know, they used to tell us, no, we don't want to hear it. Now I understand why.
Exactly. Because a lot of people, and you know what, the words to the songs says a lot too.
It does.
It get into your subconscious mind, and it becomes a reality, and it play out just the way, and we seen how it playing out, because I'm quite sure they was listening to some kind of music and everything else that they ain't got no business listening to. Or somebody was influencing them to do what they did.
I'm telling you, and when I say that, I also say this. Just like when I was reading it, oh no, there's a little dog here. Oh no, I'm sorry y'all, but you know I'm a dog lover, so I want to make sure the little dog is okay. And that's too funny. This little dog just went in the middle of the road to take a poop. Now you tell me that ain't crazy. Now what kind of dog? The dog is in the middle of the road on the highway. They'll pop the squat and let the cars go by so he can run back out there and smell it. I just think so.
That's funny.
It ain't just the men, it's dogs too. But you know, what I wanted to say too, and like I said, when I read that article about that man, when he said, I know our blog guys is probably all over the place, but hey, we coming to y'all. This is raw and uncut. This is the real deal, Mick Holyfield. We ain't got time to be all prissy right now because we both got work to do, but we still wanted to come on here and drop y'all this content.